Hallo, das ist mein Projekt Haze.
Hallo, this is mein Project Haze.
This is Haze, the mix I've been doing of it. Well, the recording and the mix. As you can see, I have 4 acoustic tracks. I'm actually just gonna, what I'll do, I'll just go into colour. Or not. Okay. Oh, it's gone. Alright, whatever. These are the acoustic tracks here. I will play them. Sound very nice and lush together. So these are using different mic placements. And using stereo to just mix them together in a way. So I've got, for example, the first track I recorded was the acoustic. Was on the 12th fret of the acoustic, and I've just whacked this one all the way to the right hand side at plus 63 for stereo, for panning. This sounds like this. So this has quite a sort of bright, I'd say it's quite like a middle ground option between the acoustic tracks. Some of them sound dark and some of them sound bright. This one's a bit of a middle ground one. It's sort of like got that darkness and brightness to it. And then I have the 16th fret. So I've got for clarification, the mic I was using was a dynamic Shure SM58. And it's quite close to the actual guitar, naturally, because it's a dynamic. It needs to be close so it can pick it up effectively without using loads and loads of gain. Which would introduce noise. But yeah, so I've got one pointing at the 12th fret, one pointing at the 16th fret, one pointing at the bridge, and then one that's sort of face on in front of me as I'm playing. I was inspired by room mics. It's the first time I've done it, and I'm actually quite impressed by the results, but I'll go through more. So we've got the 16th fret. This one sounds much brighter and has much less darkness. Then we have the bridge. This one's the darkest sounding one. Yeah. Then you have the face-on room mic. This one actually turns out to be the brightest one, because I suppose once it's further away, the lower end frequencies aren't going to be resonating as much with the microphone. We then have the vocals as well. So I have 5 vocal tracks. So the Vox Mid is the main vocal track. It's making use of low and high sort of singing styles. I'll just play a bit.
Goodbye, thoughtful lies, when the first people die.
Then I have... Ooh, that should be... Oh, lovely. So we have Vox low, left and right. So this is just it's a little bit on top of the mid-range vocal. This, it's saying the last couple words of a sentence, but it's in that Roger Waters style singing way where he double tracks it and has it in a lower register. So it sounds like this. But yeah, I'll play a bit of that.
Thoughtful lies, people die, cry for next.
And then I have just a harmony vocal here. The harm. Left and right, double tracked again. But these are a bit more central rather than hard left and right like the other two. I want the other two to sound really wide, whereas these ones I just want sort of in between. These sound like this.
Goodbye, thoughtful lies, when the first people die. What will they cry for next?
And all together it sounds like this.
By thoughtful lies, when the first people die. What will they cry for next?
Yeah, I'll just play the guitars on their own as well. I've done some EQing naturally for the guitars, so I've taken a lot of the low end off, just a little bit of reducing the 466 hertz range by 10 dB. It's just a frequency I didn't quite like, so I got rid of it. I've sort of brightened up past 500 hertz a little bit and just rounded off past 10k. I have been using pressing all these buttons. I've got the Magma stress box here, just a little bit of expansion just to get rid of any bleed and horrible noises from the background, because it's all recorded in my room. And I don't pretend to have a really soundproof room. I mean, I live on a main road, so it's not particularly ideal. I did record it at night, so it tends to be easier because there's less cars and things going on in the street. But, you know, there's going to be something no matter what. So I just wanted to use a bit of expansion just to get rid of that as much as possible. I've used the LA2A tube compressor. I've got them back. They're back. Hurrah. Yeah, I didn't compress it massively, just a little bit. I've just got the gain set to 20 and the peak reduction set to about 45. Yeah, that's all I've done for that. I just wanted to compress it a little bit. Then I've EQ'd it, added a hell of a lot of brightness at the 4.5k, that's 6 dB, 200 hertz range at 3 decibels, sorry, hiccups. I've turned down the output a little bit because it was quite hot. It was quite a beefy track. I've done quite similar things for all the acoustic. I've just done different channel EQs though, just to make them sound different from each other. Here we go. There we are. This one's quite a lot of brightness. Yeah. But most of these settings are pretty much the same, especially with the LA2A. They're pretty much the same. The vocals, again, using compression with the Magnum Stress Box, 2.8 for the mid one there. Pretty similar kind of areas, 2 point somethings. Yeah, then I've used the 610 preamp and EQ just to add a bit of brightness and reduce a bit of the low end. And then the LA2A again, similar kind of compression, not too much gain, don't want to squash the hell out of it, but it's set to about 26, peak reduction of 30. Yeah, I do have bus tracks, as you can see over here in the yellow, so I have an acoustic reverb track, which I'll play now. So I just made use of Tube EQ. Here we are. Boosted the high and low end a lot. I was also attenuating a fair bit. 4.8, 4.8. That's a bit of a coincidence. Yeah, I've got a high peak of 4. I wanted it to sound punchy and put the drive to 6. Yeah, this is just make the reverb sound bright. Because this is before any reverb has gone into the channel strip. So this is the first plugin just being EQ. Then I've got another EQ here, just adding a hell of a lot of brightness, upping the level a little bit, reducing the output. Then I've got the LA2A again, compressing it a fair bit. I want it to sound fairly squashed, so I've got it set to about 45 with a peak reduction of about 65. It's fairly squashing it. Then I have the reverb here finally. I've added a hell of a lot of treble, and I've got the wet solo on with a mix that's set to, I don't know, what would that be? About 2 o'clock maybe? I don't know. I can't remember where the placement of numbers are on clocks. I've taken away the bass of the reverb, and I've also did a low cut of 90 hertz just to get rid of that mud. I've got a pre-delay of 50 milliseconds as well, just to make it sound a bit discordant. It sounds nice. And then I've got the fresh air just to brighten it up a little bit, just by adding mid and high end presence. I then have guitar bus here, just adding frequencies I want, so I'll play it here. So first, I completely got rid of everything under 200 hertz there, started from 400. And I've got sort of like a bit of a mountain peak at 2.1k, just added it by 10 dB, and then I've cut off everything after 10k. I've then used a little micro shift, which is like a chorus effect, put it right in between the wet and dry so it get best of both worlds, and it just puts it out of phase a little bit. I really like it. It sounded quite nice. I've then used the Magma Stress box, put it to 1.58, just to make it sound bigger, as you would. I've then put the fresh air as well, just to add mid and high end presence, like I said before. Then I've got the reverb here. A lot of treble, still pretty dry, but a little bit of wetness. I've got the reverb time set to about, like 2.6 maybe seconds. But yeah, I've got the vocal bus here, making use of the fresh air again. A lot of mid and high end presence. Then I have a gate here just to get rid of any noises that I don't like in the background whilst I'm recording. Then I have the FET compressor, the 1176. I've put the input to about 30 and reduced the output to, what's that, about 14, is it? Yeah, in between 18 and 12. Got the attack set to 3 and the release set to 1 with a ratio of 8. Yeah. Then I've just got some chroma glow just to beef up the vocals. Yeah, it sounds quite nice.
Or nations astray, or was it our isles today?
Then I have Vox mid. So I've separated the mid, low and harmony vocals just on the bus, just to be able to process them individually. So I've made use of Tube EQ, fresh air, the FET compressor, and then the reverb as well. And I've done pretty much the same plugins for each of those. Yeah, this is La Project. Is there any automation? I do have some automation, just to get rid of the noise of the microphones after they play, because, like I said, I'm in my room, and, you know, it's not a soundproof room, and noise is going to be there. So I've just gotten rid of it as much as I can. But yes, this is La Track.